Let's begin lesson 12, video 15. We just finished the circular pattern on the other side. We need to start the circular pattern on this side. As we mentioned, has kind of a mother of pearl marbled prism look. This one just has a smooth flat mirror look, and we're only on our medium diamond stone. As we get smoother and smoother stones, it'll start looking like a mirror. Again, we do this circular pattern. It takes off a bit more stock. You're getting cutting in all directions, and it ensures you have not only a good facet this way, but a good facet that way. Because if you spend a lot of time in one area, not much here and a lot here, you're going to get a wave in it. We don't want a wave. You want a clean facet all the way down. So doing a circular pattern ensures you're covering everything in broad strokes instead of just up and down until you get really good at your V pattern, keeping it consistent. You know, going circular pattern with your finer stones is a real good skill and a habit to have. So everything looks clean. That's mirrored on that side. The burr is up, so we're going to do a pass on this side now. Circular pattern. I'm just doing counterclockwise again. Start up at the nose of the stone. Make sure I'm getting a good circle. I'm hitting both all the way to the left where my serration starts, all the way to right where the tanto begins. And I'm going to work up the middle of the stone, all the way towards the heel of the stone, which is back by my wrist underneath here. Get all the way back up there. Just make sure you don't run off the top of it, because you'll scratch up your knife and tear the paint off, in this case, since it's a painted knife. Got a good circular pattern here. I can fill up the nose of the stone. It's cutting a little bit more because the nose doesn't quite get as much use as the middle does. Which, as I was saying a minute ago, make sure you use your whole stone so you have an even, consistent stone. Skip the tanto angle. Come around this end, same thing. Start up at the nose of the stone. Start working your way up the middle. You notice I'm doing a smaller circle because I have a smaller surface to actually sharpen here. It's about 1 1/4 inch, 1 3/8 versus this one, which is almost 1 3/4 or 2. So I have to do smaller circles. And this is important to make sure you have a nice clean facet all the way left and right and up and down. Work all the way up to the end of the stone under my wrist. Come back down the middle. All the way down. Skip the angle. Come back over here. All the way up and all the way down again. Now you can see it has kind of a mother of pearl mirrored translucent prism effect to that side and to this side. But you can see I've already got a lot of effluent on there because we're digging up stock. You notice this effluent, or the oil stuff coming off, starts out really gray and shiny and gets darker and darker the finer stones you do. That's because as you get to finer and finer stones, you wind up liberating more carbon. You have to get much smaller cuts with like 1,000 or 1,200 stone to just start floating carbon. When you get to the floating carbon state, it just floats the carbon between the pieces of metal up into the oil, so you literally just see little black things floating around inside the oil. That means you're down to the carbon stage. Almost all metals have some carbon in them, and especially 440 stainless or 440C, which has 1 to 2% more carbon. You'll certainly see that in it. So we're going to switch back to the V pattern now. Going between V and circular, you can take off some good stock. I see I need a little bit of oil on my stone, just 1 inch or 2. Make sure the stone's covered top to bottom. Clean out the extra oil on your finger so it's not wasted. Let's go back to the V pattern again. Skip the tanto, work out to the end. When you get to the end, spend a little bit more time on the end because you need to work there longer. In this case, since we're not doing snub nose or pig nose ends, we're just doing pointed ends. You just go straight out to the end. Kind of hard to feel exactly where you think you're stopping at, but you can imagine 25 degrees. You obviously don't want to go off here and roll off and knock your tip over, but you don't want to stop too early either. So I usually come out somewhere around half there. It's just a matter of feel. If you feel it's starting to wobble off the end, you're far enough, you can start coming back. If you get too far and you skip off, you're going to bend your edge there. If you don't get far enough, the end's not going to get worked. So you just got to keep in mind how far you're going out. It just takes kind of a practice for that. Just out at the end, a little bit more time on the end. Let's start working back towards the middle again. Get down to the tanto edge, skip it. Work all the way back to the serration. I'm up against the serrated, so I stop there. Do my flip, 25 degrees. Straight V pattern, in and out, all the way down. Make sure you're using your whole stone. If you slow this down, you can see I'm coming down within 1/4 3/8 of an inch there. That wipes off the excess oil on the stone so you can pick it up on your next pass, back and forth. If you're not coming all the way down, then it gets dry off the ends here and you only use a little bit of your stone. So, because of the size of this knife, I can't go all the way in anyway because you can see it ends right there. So, go out to the tanto edge, lift, start here again. So I'm going to have a nice 45-degree angle on my cutting surface on that tanto edge, which is good for a lot of stuff. Come back, skip the angle, come back in here again, stop at the serration, do your flip, see if you got a burr. I do have a burr, but it's much smaller now, I can tell. I can feel it with my scratch awl, not very good. You can feel it with your fingernail better, or with just your fingerprint. Once you get a small burr, you can literally feel the vibrations going over each ridge of your fingerprints. You can kind of tell after time what that's supposed to feel like. Let's clean off our stone, wipe the blade, do an assessment. Yeah, I still need to do a few more V pattern passes. I can see some scratches from the rounding. I can see some scratches from the coarse 120. Again, you need to do more passes with a smaller grit stone because you're taking off less per pass. Let's do another pass or two before we get up to the next step. And the next step, we're going to be switching stone. So start that on the next video.